All right, so welcome to Benefits of Essential Oils for the Horse and Rider. Um, Obviously, you're here because you saw the class listing on the Oiled Equestrian. So I just want to take a moment to thank you for taking the time to join me tonight to learn more about how you can use essential oils to both strengthen, soothe, and support yourself, your family members, as well as your horses, which for many of us, they are a large part of our family as well. So tonight we're going to go over what are essential oils. We're going to go over benefits of using essential oils, 3 ways that we can use them, and how to use them to help support ourselves and our horses, and then a couple of my favorite and other popular recipes for using essential oils at home and in the barn. So for those of you who do not know me, I am a doTERRA wellness advocate and educator. I'm a certified aromatherapist, a wife and mother, horse trainer, riding instructor, fitness instructor, and coach. I do have a passion for equine gentling and rehabilitation, which is why I am a BLM tip trainer, approved tip trainer, and I do utilize essential oils in my gentling and training process. So what is an essential oil? Well, essential oils are naturally occurring volatile aromatic compounds, which can be found in parts of plants, from the seeds, bark, stems, roots, and the flowers. They help the plant protect itself against environmental threats and provide beneficial properties. They are highly concentrated when distilled for purity, potency, and effectiveness. And they have been used historically for food preparation, beauty treatments, and healthcare practices. So many people do not know that dating back past 2700 BC, man used plants to meet basic needs. The Chinese used herbs and aromatic plants, and they had medicinal uses back in India. There's mention of frankincense and myrrh in the Bible. It was given to Jesus when he was born. Back in 1910, we learned that lavender could be used to soothe skin. In 1943, Jean Valnet used oils on injured soldiers. So that is a huge history with using essential oils. So that said, we are first going to go over some safety tips. So we always want to use a high quality therapeutic grade oil. We also want to keep in mind that horses react similarly to humans when it comes to oils. It boggles my mind still. They're 3, 4, if not more times the size of us, but they are as sensitive to oils as we are. And we also want to make sure we keep oils out of sensitive areas. We wouldn't want to use on the muzzle for sure. We want to dilute with fractionated coconut oil. We want to use caution when using internally, and you always want to make sure that the actual bottle states that it can be used internally. You always want to make sure and remember that citrus oils are photosensitive, so that means you wouldn't take lemongrass, you wouldn't take orange or lemon or grapefruit and rub it on your skin and then go tanning or walk outside in the sun. Or if you're at a horse show, you wouldn't want to, take your jacket off if you have it on your arms or on pulse points, for instance. Anything that's going to touch the sun, you would not want to use a citrus oil unless you're using it 12 to 24 hours before going out into the sun. When we're using essential oils internally, we always want to use glass, stainless steel, or PETE plastic because especially citrus oils are very cleansing, and they pull chemicals from plastics. And so if we're putting, let's say, a citrus oil in our water, which it's 1 drop for every 8 ounces for us, you would want to put, you know, like if you put it in plastic, it's going to pull the chemicals out of your plastic, and then you're drinking plastic toxic chemicals, which defeats the purpose of drinking a cleansing beverage, right? So we want to, as I mentioned, you always want to use glass, stainless steel, or the PETE plastic, which means that it won't leach and is not something that would react to essential oils in particular. This also pertains to storage. If we're using a roller bottle, which is a glass bottle with a little roller at the top, you always want to make sure that it's either glass, stainless steel, or gemstone. They actually make really neat gemstone, some people call them crystals, rollers, which are always, all 3 of those are great ones to use. Okay, so we always want to dilute for topical application of hot oils. Now, a hot oil would be an oil like oregano, thyme, and rosemary. Whereas if you put it on your skin would actually be very irritated, and your skin would turn red. You know, it feels like it's burning, and that's why we call it a hot oil, because it reacts to our skin if we don't dilute it. So that, you know, we want to use fractionated coconut oil, or a carrier oil, or regular coconut oil. Fractionated just means that it's liquid. It stays in liquid form, which makes it super easy for applying on ourselves and our animals. Especially if we're wanting to dilute. Now, dilute doesn't mean that it's weaker. It just means that the oil is, when you dilute it with fractionated coconut oil, it takes longer for our body to necessarily to metabolize or to burn up the oil. So it's on your skin longer, and you're going to have a better spread. So you can, you know, use oil on yourself and your horses without going through a couple bottles in one treatment. And you can also use, it keeps it like on the skin longer. So, you know, you can go an hour, you know, 30 minutes to an hour, or even longer. You don't have to keep reapplying the oil if you use it neat. Now, neat just means that it's used undiluted. It's directly on the skin. We always want to make sure that we do our research on the oil that we're using, so we know exactly how to use it. So for instance, lemongrass is one that you would always want to use diluted on your animals. It's really good for soft tissue support. If you have a horse that might be on stall rest for a soft tissue injury of some sort, lemongrass is actually a really good one for helping in recovery. But you would never want to use it directly or neat on your horse. You always want to use it diluted. And there are people who actually have horses that actually have like little white spots on them from when they use lemongrass on their horse, not knowing that it needed to be diluted. And you think about it, horses spend a lot of time outside. The horse goes outside and has a reaction, or because it's photosensitive, it can burn. And so we always want to know what we're getting into before we use each oil, which is why it's important to not purchase essential oils directly from like Amazon or eBay. You want to order directly from a high quality company that does have a good customer service base, and ideally you would want to become involved with a wellness advocate like myself, you know, if you're, you know, wanting to learn more, because we do have a lot of continuing education, and we're big on education. We want you to know how to properly use your oils, so that way you're getting the best use from them, and we're not, you know, leaving our horse with white spots on their body on accident. Moving forward. So we do want to use caution with pregnant, nursing, or young animals. We always, I mean, even if we're not using essential oils, no matter what we're using on them, we're always observing our horse's behavior. But especially when you're applying oils, you don't want to use at the same time as another topical medication. So for instance, if you're using something like Surpass, you would not want to use Surpass on a hock and then also use marjoram or aromatouch. You don't want to mix things, just like you wouldn't mix, we're not supposed to mix fly sprays, different companies and blends together. We should never be mixing chemicals together. And even though essential oils are, you know, especially our essential oils are pure and they're therapeutic, high quality oils, they're still, you know, they're volatile and they're aromatic and they're strong, and we wouldn't want to mix them together, at least not with a medication. We can blend oils together all day long. Whether or not they smell great, that remains to be seen. Very much the theory of, if you take every beautiful color in the crayon box and you put them all together, it would make black. Okay, so same thing when it comes to blending essential oils. We wouldn't want to apply oils to the saddle area prior to riding. Don't panic if your horse does have a skin irritation or an adverse reaction. You, instead of using water, because remember, water and oil don't mix, you would dilute the area with a carrier oil, and most issues resolve themselves within a few hours of dilution. So everybody is different, and everybody's body is different, and some of our bodies, they may need more of one oil than another. And so if a horse does have an adverse reaction or skin irritation, that doesn't mean that they are allergic to it or anything like that. And the same goes for us. That doesn't necessarily mean that we are allergic to it. It just means that we are sensitive to it. And we may not need as much, or we need additional dilution with a carrier oil. And then, of course, you want to contact your veterinarian if your horse exhibits abnormal behaviors or has an illness. All right, so there are 3 ways to get the most benefit from essential oils. And the first way is aromatically. So we can diffuse. Many of you, I'm sure, know what a diffuser is. You go to your local drugstore or Walmart or Target, you're going to find a diffuser. And we can use a diffuser, or we can use an oil directly in the palm of our hand and use it to positively affect mood. We can help cleanse the air and support the respiratory system. And as I mentioned, we can use it via diffusers. We can make a spray and spray it into the air. We can use direct inhalation. I like to put a drop, like as I mentioned, the palm of my hand, and put my hands under my horse's nose and let them, you know, if they really like the oil, they'll kind of look at it, or they'll actually lunge for it. In the case of one of my horses, he just loves his oil, so he's constantly trying to lick it off my hand, my coat, anywhere he can get it. He's always looking for more oil. You can use on a cloth or a leather item near the animal. So my favorite place to go is the noseband, whether it's on the halter, the lead rope, the saddle. The horses' essential oils are so strong that they can still smell it and receive benefit from it, even if it's not ingested or applied topically. You can spray onto the stall or on the bedding, and for us, we can use hot water and steam and put a couple of drops in there to help. You know, we would obviously close our eyes, but if we're trying to open airways or anything like that, it's a really good way for us to support ourselves. We can use essential oils topically, and we can apply directly to affected areas for localized benefits, but we would want to dilute with fractionated coconut oil. So let's say we have a horse that comes in and they might be a little sore in the hindquarters. You know, you can put like marjoram or aromatouch, which I will be going through those blends in a little bit, but you can put that with some fractionated coconut oil in your hand and rub it directly where you need it. We can use it directly along the spine. We can utilize essential oils in massage. We can use essential oils on reflexology points, tips of ears. As I mentioned already, directed directly to area of interest. We can use essential oils on their pole. We can put a couple drops in their shampoo. We also have had cold or hot compresses. This one, it would also be like a soak, like a hoof soak. We can put essential oils on our Epsom salts or our Himalayan sea salt. For that way the oil will bond to the salt before we put it in the warm water for soaking. Because remember, essential oils don't mix, or oils and water don't mix. So if you put it on the salt first, and when you then go and mix it in your water, it will be mixed thoroughly throughout your water versus floating along the top. So you'll get the best use from it. We can use essential oils internally. We can put a few drops in our water, in veggie caps. Veggie caps are just empty capsules that you can open up, put a couple of drops in, close it back up, and take it with water or whatever drink that you would like to take them with. And we can also put a drop under our tongue. The same thing goes with our horses. The general rule is 1 drop per gallon of drinking water. If you're going to use essential oils, of course, in the water, of course, you want it to be in a stainless steel bucket. And as I have shown here on this slide, but you can also put in veggie caps or put a couple drops directly on their feed. Another way that you can give internally is you put a drop on your thumb and let it kind of sit for a little bit, but then rub it on your horse's gums. And we want to remember that oils that indicate that they are for internal use can be given internally. I would not recommend giving your horse more than 1 to 2 drops at any one time. You always want to mix. If you're going to give it internally, you also want to have food available. As I mentioned, also the drop on the finger, and then 1 drop per gallon of drinking water. Now there's another picture on this slide, and this is for us. So remember, we don't want to use plastic, so that way we don't end up with toxins in our water. So this was just a reminder that, you know, stainless steel or glass water bottles, or PET plastic only, for any time you're going to use something internally or any kind of storage of essential oils. So how do we introduce an oil to our horse? Now, I feel bad because I have a video that briefly goes over how to do this, but unfortunately I was unable to get it to upload today. So I'm going to kind of just very quickly go over this. It's super simple. You don't want to actually take the lid off a bottle of oil and shove it in your horse's face. Horses' lips are very, very strong. They can grab onto it, and bottles are made from glass. So we wouldn't want them to bite onto it, cut their lip, or for it to fall to the floor and have glass in your barn. But what I do is I put a drop in the palm of my hand, place it in front of my horse. And if it's something that they're interested in, they're going to tilt their head, and they're going to smell it with one nostril, and then tilt their head again and smell it with the other nostril. And then usually at this point, if they really like it, they're still going to be, you would just be able to read your horse. You know, if their ears are forward, they're looking at you, they're trying to get to it. In my case, my horses at this point try licking it out of my hand or, you know, off my jacket. However they can get close to it. They start pawing, thinking I'm giving them a treat. So for them, it is their treat. Some horses will, you know, stay passive or just sit quietly. So it's sometimes a little harder to read them. But obviously the main ones that I would say, if it's an oil that your horse is not interested in, they're going to ignore you. They're going to start looking around. They may back away from you. Those type of behaviors would indicate that it's not the right oil for your horse in that moment. So you just want them to see that they're interested in it before utilizing the oils. All right, so the first oil I'm going to go through is On Guard. This is our protective blend. It is one of our most popular, and it helps support healthy immune function and contains cleansing properties. Aroma Touch is our massage blend. It does provide comforting and relaxing effects, and adds important benefits to a massage. So you can use this with fractionated coconut oil for massage on yourself and your animals. It is probably one of my favorites that I use on my horses, just because it's very relaxing. It's herbal. It's great for you know, sore muscles. You know, if you have a horse with hoof troubles or hoof pain, you can use it on their legs to help with the soft tissue support. You know, and just basically overworked muscles. You think muscles, and you should think Aroma Touch. Enough said. So then Deep Blue is our soothing blend. This is also a really good one for muscles as well as joint discomfort. This one's also really good for us riders, you know, especially after a long day of work or a show day or a day of cleaning stalls, or, you know, whatever it ends up being. For me, it's, you know, if I have a, you know, a long day, or I've got a string of horses that need to be worked by the end of the day, I am exhausted. And Deep Blue is really good for helping with that type of discomfort. And then Wild Orange does have multiple health benefits, in addition to an amazing aroma that is very uplifting. It is one of doTERRA's top-selling essential oils, and is my favorite one to put in my horse's water. And then just a tidbit, if we have a horse that is, you know, gets stressed out when it's away at a show and doesn't necessarily like to drink water, you can kind of train them when you're at home, and you put a drop or two in a stainless steel water bucket, and give them the opportunity to drink from that bucket. So then when you're away at the show, if you add a couple of drops of Wild Orange into their bucket, they're not going to necessarily realize that it's not the same water. It's going to taste very similar to the water that they taste at home. So peppermint, who doesn't know peppermint, right? This is another one of our best-selling favorites, and it has a high menthol content, and it does set it apart from other companies when it comes to quality. I actually like to use peppermint instead of an actual peppermint candy. If you think about it, there's a lot of sugar in peppermint mints, like Starlight mints and such. Whereas peppermint, you know, a drop of peppermint out of the bottle is so much healthier for our horses, and it's actually soothing to their stomach, and helps with helps opening airways. It helps with, like, you think anything stomach, nausea, you know, any kind of tummy discomfort, peppermint is great for that. So we have Balance. This is our grounding blend. It is actually the first oil that I use when I'm first using oils on my horse. So I offer it to my horse. As I mentioned, put a drop in the palm of my hand, put it by their muzzle. Generally at this point, they're trying to get to me. They're pawing at the ground. They're like, we really need some balance in our life. So I put what's in my hand on their paw, the pole, and then I take a drop and I put it on the back of the tail, and then on all four heels to help with grounding. And it helps promote tranquility, harmony, and harmony to the mind and the body, and balance to emotions. So this one I use a lot on the Mustangs because it's really good for everything. You know, they may have an issue or soreness, or a lot of times it's emotional that they're dealing with at the time. So I do like to use Balance on them to help support them. For us, it's really good for anxious feelings. You can also use it with lemongrass and Deep Blue to help with joint discomfort. So this right here is just one of my favorite blends with Balance. So it's Balance and Serenity. And then you can put in a roller bottle with fractionated coconut oil, and you can use it on yourself. You wouldn't, if you're showing, you want to definitely just double check your show rules before using it, because many high-level show organizations prevent or forbid the use of lavender in the show ring, which just right there tells you it works. When you've got USDF and USEF banning the use of lavender in the show ring, you know that it's giving people, you know, the upper, you know, another edge to their showing in the upper hand, so to speak. So you do want to check your show rules. But if you're not showing and you're wanting to go out on the trails, or you're wanting to just have fun and ride, or you just have a horse that just can't seem to settle in their stall, you know, Balance and Serenity together is awesome. All right, and then for us, we can put on our neck, our wrists, our feet, and over our heart, as well as in a diffuser for, like, I call it instant calm, but this blend is called liquid calm here. We have lavender. This is actually a good dog and cat safe ouchie spray, which is 4 drops of copaiba, 8 drops of frankincense, and 8 drops of lavender. This is another one that everybody seems to know. Anywhere you go, you can find lavender infused lotions and baby wash and sleepy time sprays, and because it is calming and relaxing and promotes peaceful sleep and eases feelings of tension. Lavender is also really good for soothing skin irritation. If you've got seasonal issues, inflammation, and wounds. So it's very versatile oil. And this is some really quick other recipes that you can use with lavender. We have the Calm and Grounding Diffuser Blend, which is 4 drops vetiver, 4 drops 2 drops frankincense, 4 drops lavender. We have the Sweet and Calm Diffuser Blend, which is 3 drops Roman chamomile, 6 drops lavender, and 2 drops ylang ylang. And then my favorite, which is our room freshener. This one keeps me on the good side with the husband, come home smelling like the farm, my jacket and whatnot. So there's 2 drops lavender, 2 drops cedarwood, 2 drops tea tree oil, which is melaleuca, and 2 drops of wild orange. Speaking of melaleuca, it is known for its purifying qualities, which makes it useful for cleansing the skin and home surfaces, helps purify the air, and promote healthy immune function. And this is probably one of our most popular immune boosting type blends. We call it Flume. They're a little out of order right here, but it would be frankincense, lemon, oregano, on guard, and melaleuca. And you would put them in a roller bottle and top off with fractionated coconut oil. Anytime you feel like you're totally needing an immune boost, if you're traveling, or you know, kids come home from school and they are coughing and you're like, uh-oh, I better, you know, start boosting everyone's immune system, because this cannot go through our house. You can put it in the bottom of the feet, because remember, oregano is a hot oil. And it's diluted with the fractionated coconut oil, which means that you can put it on the bottoms of the feet and would not have issues with it being too hot, because it's diluted. So this is one of my favorite purifying hoof soaks that I use. That's 2 drops melaleuca, 2 drops on guard, 2 drops frankincense, 2 drops oregano, 1 drop lemon, and 2 drops of Purify. And I like, as I mentioned, I put them on directly on the salts. I prefer the Himalayan salt versus the Epsom salts, but you can use either or. And you want to put them directly on your salt before adding them directly to your warm water. So we have immune support at home and away. I'm going to quickly go through this because we're starting to get a little short on time here. So we have immune support blends. which are On Guard products, such as the On Guard Cleaner Concentrate. And I like to spray that on stall walls, in the trailer. I use it to clean water buckets. You can diffuse On Guard Melaleuca and or frankincense when you're at the show. You can give your horse On Guard and frankincense internally. Put 1 drop on the lower lip. You can use topically and dilute with fractionated coconut oil and place on scrapes, cuts, and other skin irritations. And then we do also have the AromaTouch technique. You can purchase an AromaTouch kit if you would like. And it has all the different oils, and it comes with a video and shows you how to use it. And we do that a week before the show and afterwards to help boost the immune system. And then we have DigestZen. So DigestZen is probably should have been the first oil that I went through today because to me it is the most important. This is our digestive blend. And it is a wonderful companion to aid in the digestion of food, soothe upset stomachs, and reduce uncomfortable gas and bloating. Horses, this is not necessarily something that we would ever want to see, is having our horse uncomfortable, in distress, staring at their tummy. We can use DigestZen 1 drop in the morning and 1 drop at night in their feed to help prevent this from occurring, but then we can also use it to support them and help them get through discomfort in the event that it does happen. So what I like to do is I put 10 drops of DigestZen in, mix it with about 20 drops of fractionated coconut oil, and you can rub it right in the flank area as well as under their belly, very close to where their belly button would be. And as well as I will give 5 to 10 drops in an emergency situation orally. Normally you would just give 1 to 2, but if you have a horse that is in severe distress and discomfort, you can give up to 10 drops, but that would be the maximum at any one time. So Breathe is our respiratory blend. It is used to create feelings of clear, easy breathing and can be blended with Citrus Bliss and Serenity. Breathe on its own is really good in a diffuser, especially in the wintertime. You have horses that struggle when the barn's closed up with dust and mold, and they may not necessarily breathe very well, and they may struggle a little bit. So when we use Breathe, you can put it in the diffuser. You can also use it in the palm of your hand and put it in front of their muzzle, let them smell it, and then you can rub it on their chest and on the halter, the noseband of the halter or bridle, if you're looking to help open airways. For anxious feelings, you can use Balance, Peace, Serenity, or Lavender, and you can apply directly to yourself. Whether you have like a little diffusing necklace or bracelet. If you're riding, obviously you don't necessarily want to ride with jewelry, but you can put on the collar of your show shirt, as well as on your pulse points. On your horse, you can put directly on their forehead, their poll, the nose band, the brow band, the halter, and chest. To help speed up recovery, you can use AromaTouch topically to known trouble areas. You can make a liniment water with peppermint to restore comfort to the muscles, and they also is a deterrent for wing pests. You can use Deep Blue on yourself in between rides, and then as I mentioned, lemongrass diluted is really good for soft tissue support in the legs. So how can you get started? All right, so there's 2 different ways that you can get started using essential oils. You can purchase them directly retail, which is full price, or you can get a wholesale membership, which includes but is not limited to me as your guide as you start to learn more about essential oils. This is just the tip of the iceberg with this intro class. I do offer like a recipe class. We go over blends. I do make and takes. I travel and teach classes, one-on-ones. So I am available to teach you and show you how to properly and safely use essential oils. There are no monthly requirements when you have a wholesale membership. You order when you want, what you want. If you join as a new member, you save 25 to 55% off your orders and earn free shipping and handling in points that you can then turn around and spend on free product. We always have online product education. If you're from the Midwest, we have local and online classes and webinars. If you're not, we have the Live Naturally Community Facebook support group, which is only available to our wholesale members. And we have active team events, make and takes, picnics, oil camps, so you know how to use your oils right from the start. Now, the kit that is pictured right now, this is our AromaTouch kit. It is $150 plus tax and shipping. This is the one that I show to 99.9% of all of horse owners because it has all of the oils that we went over today that you can use both on yourself and your horses. It also comes with the diffuser that is pictured, that's called our pedal, and so you can use it at home, or if you wanted to take that and sit it outside your horse's stall, you would be able to do that as well. And then it also comes with a link that shows you how to use the AromaTouch technique on family, loved ones, and you can even use it on your animals, including your horses. I also want to take a moment as well to remind you that I do teach classes. I travel and teach classes, and I'm always looking for hostesses or hosts. And if you do book a class, I do, or you would automatically get a free wild orange. Just for holding the class, you would also get a keychain, which will hold up to 8 samples of essential oils for on the go. You can also earn free product just for sharing with your friends and family. All right. So if you want to learn more about how to get started, I do have additional webinars and educational resources directly on my website at theoiledequestrian.com. So at this point, I just wanted to thank you for spending your Monday evening with me learning about essential oils. I'm going to, as I mentioned, this class was recorded, and I'm going to post it in the event page right on Facebook. And you're more than welcome to comment below in that Facebook event page any questions that you may have regarding anything that I went over today. If you have any additional questions or want to learn how you can enroll or join, anyone who does enroll with a wholesale membership in the next 2 days will receive an intro kit from me as an enrollment gift, as well as a equine DIY kit, which has recipes and labels, so you can make products for your, for your horse. There's everything from Focus. There's a skin soother, joint, tendon, and ligament support, an energy blend, a bug off pest blend, healthy hoof, muscles, anxious, digestion. There's a breathe recipe, moody mare, intense immunity, itch relief, crud buster, lumps and bumps, and hot hoof.